a young advocate, a speaker, a youth leader whose work is focused on peace building, inclusion, and civic engagement, and youth development. Ibrahim, welcome to Political Arena, and thank you so much for honoring our invite.
Thank you for having me, Shukara.
You've been quite remarkable, I mean, at just 17. So what would you say shaped your experience and has shaped you and has put you in the path of advocacy and leadership?
Insurgency in northeastern Nigeria has really shaped the person I am becoming. You know, we grew up, survival was the first lesson we learned, not literacy. So growing up amidst our peers, our schools being burned down, our roads to school are no longer safe, we're in constant fear, I think it raised a lot of thoughts in my head that where are the people supposed to stop what is happening to us? Why is no one doing anything? It was such thoughts coupled with the horrific experiences I had that gave birth to the modern day Ibrahim, which was actually a young boy who intentionally delved into the art of public speaking with his sole aim that I become an amplifier for the voices of my peers silenced by conflict. I could remember my father, he once told me in some years gone by, he said that, Ibrahim, anything done for you without you is not truly for you. And looking at how today, you know, we have leaders sitting in high offices miles away from our homes and schools. They claim to understand what we go through when they don't hear it directly from us. So I think those experiences are the ones that motivate me to become the person I am today.
You seem very interested. I mean, you did mention that you grew up in a conflict-affected area. That must have been one of your reasons why you're interested in governance, leadership, and advocacy. However, can you take us through that and delve deeper?
I think, as you have mentioned, I think my first-hand experiences are part of what made me to be involved in governance. But now, I think growing up a little bit with all the advocacy experiences I've had, I've come to realize that politics and governance plays a very key role when it comes to influencing decisions. I have been a public speaker, I've been an advocate, and we have raised our voices in different platforms, in international platforms, and we have truly seen how powerful they are. But what today we advocate for is that we move from not just our voices, but for young people to be part of these decision-making spaces. You see that we're able to express ourselves, but we don't have real influence. It has now become a culture of tokenism, I would say. So I think looking at how these things, our voices are not being accountable for, and looking at how our voices are not in positions of power to really change things on ground for our people, I think I was very much interested in politics and governance to see that, okay, I'm in a position where I can directly say this and it's this.
How have your experiences shaped your trust and expectation of leadership in Nigeria?
I think looking at a lot of things happening in Nigeria, I think today we are no longer what we are. What is happening today is not part of the stories our grandmothers would use to tell us about, you know, our country. So looking at the current situation we have today, I think the way for you to trust the leadership of our country, it's very difficult. Because take a look at the unfathomable crisis going on everywhere around our country. You know, growing up, we haven't really felt what it's like to be, you know, a part of a good leadership in our country. So I think these experiences really undermine how we see leadership in Nigeria. But I think despite all this, we still have hope. And where there is a will, there's always a way.
Ibrahim, Nigeria will be great again, and we will tell our children good stories about Nigeria, hopefully. Okay, as someone who advocates for peace and inclusion, what do you think young people can do to contribute positively to the country?
I think one of the best tools as young people, since we are not invited to the room, is to actually take up the spaces ourselves. I think our voice is a very powerful tool for young people. You know, when you don't speak up, it's like we have become accustomed and we have become very quiet on issues that are directly affecting us. And you can see the power of young people all around our country today. You will see youths coming out to speak, and you see how well the communities engage with them. So as young people, our number one weapon is our voice. But then we also need to develop ourselves so that we'll be able to sit in conversations where decisions are being made about us. Because there's this popular African proverb that says, when a child washes his hands, he can eat with the elders. And I believe we need to equally also prepare ourselves, prepare our leadership skills, our skills on how will be able to contribute to decisions happening in our own society. But I think my number one message would be for us to speak up.
We should speak up and we should be actively involved in the civic engagements going on around us. Nigeria has recently experienced a series of kidnappings across all parts of its country, affecting especially the educational system. And you know, as the saying goes, a country without education is bound to collapse. Personally, how do you feel about all of this? How does this affect you?
Well, education is the only tool for the child of a peasant farmer to become the most celebrated icon of tomorrow. According to Nelson Mandela, he said education is the passport to the future, and for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. But as you have directly mentioned, today, our schools are not safe. Insecurity ravages our children. Our roads to school are no longer safe. Our children are being abducted from their schools. So now tell me, how are we preparing for education tomorrow? So looking at the insecurity, especially when it comes to the aspect of education, I think it is something that we need to prioritize, not just as citizens of this country, but as the leadership of this country. We need to invest more in security. Security, especially when it comes to the aspect of education. If you look at brilliant people today, even I myself, one of the things that keeps me going and one of the things that keeps me passionate about education is I know, if not because of the background I had in education today, I will not be here in a position where I can represent my peers and feel fulfilled afterwards. So I think what I really think needs to be done is that we need to invest more on the matters of security. And it's not just about our leadership, it's not just about our government, it's about our people in our communities. According to Johann Wolfgang, he says, let everyone sweep in front of his own door and the world will be clean again. So we all have responsibilities to play. In our communities, in our families, in our homes, let's try to make sure that our children are safe, our communities are safe.
As someone who grew up in a conflicted area, what messages do you have to children who are currently going through such, who can go to school because of conflict, who can worry about education but rather have to worry about if they are going to see tomorrow, if their parents are going to be there, if they are going to still see their peers tomorrow? What message can you pass to them?
My message to children and young people in conflict-affected areas, one thing I would say to them that I'm currently certain is that no matter how long the night is, darkness must give way to the light of the dawn.
Amen.
Now, stormy the weather might well be, it won't rain forever. Any type of madness will come to an end.
Hopefully.
And I believe that
pay. Gone are the days of consolidated relief and personal relief. These were automatic tax breaks that every worker used to get. From January 2026, Nigeria will instead offer rent relief. This means that 20% of your annual rent can be deducted from the total amount of tax you are supposed to pay. Here's how it works. So far as the 20% of your annual rent is not more than 500,000 naira, you get a 20% deduction from the total amount of tax you pay based on your rent. This tax break does not, however, apply to homeowners. If your rent is 1.5 million naira yearly, you get 300,000 naira in relief. That's 20% of your rent. But if you're paying 3 million naira rent, you still only get the maximum 500,000 relief, not the full 600,000 you might expect. The first 800,000 naira you earn is now completely tax-free, up from previous levels. This tax overhaul is designed to ease the burden on middle and lower income Nigerians while asking the wealthy to contribute more to national coffers. Whether you're celebrating or calculating how much more you'll pay, one thing is certain: Nigerian taxation just got a major makeover. And understanding these changes could save you thousands or cost you, depending on which side of the income divide you're on.
Guys, young entrepreneurs find women in more just by a local following who create opportunity improvement and all create opportunity improvement and but in a business is never just about selling products. It is about navigating failure, earning trust, overcoming doubts, and carrying the expectations that come with success. This evening, we'll be asking the question: what does it take to build a brand from nothing? What barriers still exist for young female entrepreneurs, especially in northern Nigeria? And you know what I mean by that. And what does success truly mean when it is built on purpose rather than popularity? Joining us today is an entrepreneur, a founder of Phenomenal by Mariam, in the person of Mariam Barwa. Hello, Mariam. Welcome to Spotlight On.
Hello, thank you for having me.
We've been looking forward to have you. Good to see you today.
Thank you.
So let's start quickly, but before going into what Phenomenal by Mariam is, let's know who Mariam Barwa is. Many people know your product,
Yeah.
But who is Mariam Barwa beyond the business? Away from the Phenomenal by Mariam, let's get to know you, like, away from social media.
Okay. So, can we cut?
No.
I can just continue talking.
Yeah, so
beyond being an entrepreneur and social media,
yes.
I think I am. Oh God, please, I'm sorry. I don't know.
Okay, so
Okay, I think growing up, someone that loves beauty. I love dressing up. I love doing my own makeup, and I'm just naturally so girly. I just love beauty,
The Cinderella kind of
yeah.
pink, purple.
Yeah, but beyond all of that, I am someone that has this desire to build something of my own.
Yeah.
In as much as I've gotten the best of support from my parents, but I believe I can build something of my own without people attaching my name to maybe my father's name or anyone else's. I want to, when people see or when people see Mariam, they think about Mariam alone and no one else. So I think.
So, is there a childhood memory that has contributed to who you are now? Maybe friends and all of them?
I actually have a lot of memories.
Let's hear some.
I'm actually a pretty stubborn child.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't tell me what to do. So I think that's one of the things that has shaped me into who I am today, because when you're stubborn, you go for what you want. Nobody can tell you
why
otherwise.
is it like that? It's beginning to look like most stubborn people become the successful people. Is it that the people that listen and follow, obey daddy and mommy are left behind?
No, I feel generally you don't wait to get invited. You just go. Do you get? And sometimes some people say a closed mouth is a closed destiny. So I believe in going for what you want and be audacious. You don't have to wait for anybody to tell you what to do.
Yeah. So you've mentioned that, okay, while you're young, you like to be girly, to mix up pink.
Yeah.
That's what I feel girly means. You understand? That's
Yeah.
why I'm mentioning the pink.
Yeah.
So, okay, since then, have you always been thinking about becoming an entrepreneur, or it was just you wanting to beautify yourself?
Actually, when I started my business doing henna. So, and I learned the henna by myself. So it started me doing it on my hands.
Yeah.
And then eventually I started doing it on other people because as I've told you before, I wanted to have something of my own.
Yeah.
So doing the henna business gave me, let's say, my own money. With the little money I was getting from the henna, I was able to do so many stuff for myself. So I think that's that.
So what does success look like for you? Because you say at a younger age you were making money. So does that translate into why you kept pushing that, oh, I'm making money, I can get more?
It's not about always money, because when you chase money and success, you eventually lose yourself.
Yeah.
So I believe in wanting to build a legacy that rather than wanting to have only money. So that's what I believe.
For so many successful people, they always talk about someone that inspired them, a mentor. Do you have any person of inspiration or mentor?
Actually, my parents, because my parents were go-getters. My mom is a lawyer and my dad was a politician. And growing up, I've always seen them like going for what they want. They've always worked hard to provide for us. And I want to do the same for my kids as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you decided, oh, because you see your mommy as an independent woman.
Yeah, she is.
You should be in a space like that.
Yeah.
So let's move forward away from your childhood.
Okay.
This is Africa. You know how it is for women, the stereotype and all.
Yeah.
How have you been able to navigate the stereotype as a female business woman? What were the challenges you faced, especially because you are a northern woman, and apart from being a northern woman, a Muslim woman? It's quite difficult because of our culture and our religion. So talk to us about your story.
To be very honest, it hasn't been an easy journey because, you know, as a young northern Nigerian woman, before you do anything, you feel like you have to work twice as hard for people to take you seriously. And there are certain people that find it so hard to believe that a young woman, can achieve certain things. So they always attach your success to men, or maybe they believe that a woman's greatest achievement should only be getting married and having kids. Even though I don't have any issue with you getting married as a woman, but I don't feel it's something that should stop you from dreaming, or that maybe because my dreams are too big, I should maybe bring it down because I'm a woman. So I believe you can be a mother, you can be a wife, and also go get things done.
Yes. So were there moments during, you've mentioned that it has been challenging, it's not smooth, because some people would think, oh, probably because her mom is a lawyer, her father is this, so she gets funding, so it's easier for her. You understand? Some people will feel that even if they don't ascribe your success to a particular man or something. Were there time in these challenges that you question, what are you even doing? okay, I think I'm tired. I should just stop this thing. Like, who sent me?
There'll always be that time because entrepreneurship is the real ghetto. Because, and also, one of the challenges I've faced is that people, I don't know, they feel like you are not capable. Even from your family, they think you dream too big.
Yeah.
So it's very hard for you to get support, even though my parents have really tried.
Yes.
Because my dad was the one that gave me like my first capital.
Yes.
So he really pushed me into being who I am today. But what I believe is that the challenges you face as another Nigerian woman is you're going to struggle with visibility. Number one, people will not take you seriously. And there are certain ways that you come out to promote your business. People will tell you are immodest and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So you struggle to make sales. But one thing I believe is you shouldn't give up. You should always keep pushing because at the end of the day, you're going to make yourself proud.
Talking about immodest, have you ever experienced any backlash? You know how social media can be.
Always.
Social media backlash and
all the time. Because, coming out to the camera is actually something that people find as immodest. You're a woman, you're not supposed to come out to the world and talk. You're a woman, you're not supposed to dress a certain way. You're a woman, you're not supposed to have this type of business. You're a woman, you're not supposed to talk to men. Like, there are so many things that you...
Do you have a story, like a particular incident that actually happened, maybe a social media incident that you were able to...
Honestly, for me is anytime I achieve something, I share my wins with people.
Yeah.
Oh, I started this and I am here. So people are always saying that there is someone behind the scene bankrolling me. They believe that everything I have earned or everything I am today is literally my brain and God. So they always assume maybe she's just faking it. She doesn't really have maybe this type of people that she says that maybe, because sometimes I come out and say, oh, we've made so much money from so thing. So people don't believe that. They always feel like, oh, she's definitely lying. Maybe there's a man there that is just giving her money. So she's here lying to us that it's her business that is giving her all of this money.
But why do you think Northerners especially, why did all, because it's not, this is not the first time we're hearing this, and it's not just you, so many female successful women, why do they always ascribe that to a particular man? Because
it's their norm. Do you get? And when you're one of the few that want to break that stereotype, it's going to be hard. People will say nasty things just to make you feel less worthy of yourself. Do you get it? They want to make you feel miserable because that's not their norm. In Arewa, in northern Nigeria, you rarely see women in big offices. But then our own generation now are here to break the stereotype because we are going to get everything we want to get. So being a northern female go-getter is actually not the norm. It's not the norm. Being enrolled by a particular man is norm. So when you are trying to, stand out, that is when it looks like you are doing something out of the ordinary. Because they always tell you that, what are you looking for? Why do you want to have your own money? Are you not supposed to marry? Because once you marry, the man is going to take care of you. But how many men are here today that take completely, 100% take care of their women? Of course, the economy does not even... Exactly. So you have to, as a woman, also go out and look for your own money. Because at the end of the day, nothing is certain. Your husband today can actually be broke tomorrow. Do you get? What if you have kids? What if that man is no longer he's no longer here? Do you get? How are you supposed to take care of your kids if you don't have the foundation to know how to manage money or generate your own money? Of course. Yeah. Not everybody. The problem is there are actually some of these people commenting that you're being bankrolled by women. It will surprise you that majority of them are even women. And don't get me wrong. Yes. I believe that, of course, you're going to have men that will support you. Yes. And believe in your journey. Yes. I have my parents, I have uncles, I have brothers, and you have friends. Do you get? Of course. But Mariam, when we talk about men bankrolling you, that is not what they mean. Yeah, they maybe boyfriends or sugar daddies or whatever they call them. But still, I believe that you can actually have support from men. But it's painful to take your credit and attach it to another man when you know you've done a lot for yourself as well. If your business doesn't exist, what would you be doing? Because you mentioned that your dad is a what? He was a politician. He was a politician, and your mom is a lawyer. Yeah. So, and you are an entrepreneur. So, if you want to maybe be in the professional seats like your parents, where would you be? An architect. I love drawing and I have the talent for it. So I've always wanted to be an architect and I wanted to study architecture, but I didn't pass the cutoff mark for architecture. So I settled for geography and I'm pretty good at that. So maybe I can be something else apart from.
Okay, that seems very close to drawing henna.
Yeah,
So if you are not an architect, you're
exactly,
a
because
beauty
that's who I
architect.
am. Because I think when you are born, I don't know, from a very young age, since when I was like 5,
Yeah.
I knew who I wanted to be.
Oh.
Crazy, right? But I've always known who I wanted to be in the future. And I think I was really born to be who I am today because everything I do, it's not difficult for me. It's like, oh, I was born to do this.
Because you were already thinking about the future, even when you don't know you have to make
Exactly.
money, you have to earn.
Yeah.
There's something about making money from what you enjoy doing. You don't see the difficulty.
Exactly.
You don't get to live
Yeah.
it when you face challenges.
Exactly.
So let's move on. Every successful business, come with a business idea.
Okay.
How did Phenomenal by Mariam? Now let's go to Phenomenal by Mariam. What about the idea of Phenomenal by Mariam?
Okay. Phenomenal by Mariam is built on girlhood because, as I've told you before, I love beauty. And me loving beauty is me wanting to see other women be beautiful through my fashion, hair care, makeup, everything. So, Phenomenal by Mariam, when we talk about Phenomenal by Mariam, it's just about femininity. Who are you as a woman? What empowers you? What do you want to become?
Okay, thank you so much, Mary. Let's go for a quick break. When we return, we'll be talking more about Phenomena by Mary, and you'll be telling us what problem you're trying to solve by bringing up this idea. This is actually an interesting aspect that I've been waiting for to converse with you. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be going for a quick break now. When we return, Spotlight on is still on. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is still Spotlight on S24 television, and we've been talking to Mariam Barwa, the CEO of Phenomenal by Mariam. A lot of ladies will be interested in this segment because we'll be talking about what Phenomenal by Mariam really entails and which caliber of women does it actually belong to. So tell us more about this brand of yours.
Okay, people know Phenomenal by Mariam now mostly through our hair care because we've helped over 20,000 women achieve longer hair. Wow. Because, as Black African women, we're always being told that the texture of our hair doesn't grow. It's very hard for you to grow. And people were actually convinced to just put on relaxers because it's easier for you to manage. And I've always said that Phenomenal by Mariam is a brand that is going to prove every wrong stereotype around women and African women. Yeah. So we created the hair care because we believe that everybody can actually achieve a desired length of hair. And we've been able to do that. You can check the results.
It's hard to believe that there are actually people making something that's, increase the length of African women. And people rarely believe that.
They don't.
But let's move from, we have different aspects of beauty. Yeah. The makeup, the skincare and all of that. Yeah. Why hair? Why did you choose hair?
Because I love my hair. And I think hair gives you confidence. If you're not confident about your own hair, then I think there's a huge problem with that because your hair is part of who you are and you have to nurture it, you have to take care of it. And because I love taking care of my own hair, I want to give other women the chance to actually have their hands on something rare because I believe my products are rare. So if you have your hands on our product, you're going to know that yes, Phenomenal has actually done something for the African women because whatever you want, if you want to grow your hair, we have a certain product for that. If you want to take care of your hair, we have a certain product for that. So
my question is, what category of women are you actually building this for? Because for something that, if it's actually working, don't you agree with me that it's actually expensive? What caliber? Are you giving it out to every grade of African women, or you have some particular type
No,
of customer?
no. Phenomenal is for the African women. For
Every
black hair.
African woman
Every
can
African
afford phenomenal by
can
Mario.
afford, because I believe our prices are modest.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not expensive or let's say cheap. It's modest. You can be able to afford it, inshallah. And I think we've done so well, alhamdulillah.
So how did you develop your first product? How did you come about your first product?
It started with me just mixing random herbs because
Okay.
it's a herbal hair care brand. So it's mostly focused on herbs that are here in the northern Nigeria. So it took me experiments because I
Yeah.
experimented with my own hair. I wanted to grow long hair because I think I had an issue with my hair with relaxers and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I was so desperate for my hair to grow.
Okay.
So I started researches and doing so many things. Like I
Yeah.
just literally became a magician because I was just mixing so many stuff. And eventually it worked for me. And I think I started the business as a joke. I just came online. I'm like, oh, I made this so oil and it grew my hair. If anybody is interested, should just pick me up.
Yeah.
And then we got completely sold out. That was how we started.
It's interesting to know that so many people are actually looking for something, to increase the length of their hair
Yeah,
and
that's
what
true.
so. I don't think there's any business that you bring up that you will not find your consumers, because if
Exactly.
it can solve problem, definitely you find your consumers.
Exactly.
But it will be it's also quite difficult to convince people that this is actually working. How were you able to navigate that?
I think when you're growing a business, trust is everything. When you say your brand offers something, then it should be able to offer that.
Yeah.
When you say your brand helps with hair growth, then it should be able to offer hair growth. Because I know that there are certain brands that they will tell you that if you use this product, it's going to give you long silky hair, and it's a lie.
I never thought
Yeah.
that.
So I think for us, phenomenal, how we were able to grow is because people trust us.
Yeah.
And I always tell people that results don't lie, because people are always sharing their testimonies,
Yeah.
sharing their reviews that, oh, this was my hair before and this is my hair now after using phenomenal. So you see, trust is everything, and you have to build that trust by sharing results.
Was there a time when you faced financial
Because even now, the economy in the country.
So what was your biggest financial challenges? You cannot tell, people will not believe you're facing financial challenges now.
Every business owner faces financial
Okay, let's talk about
challenge.
your biggest financial challenges, what you faced in your business.
I think it was due to low sales.
Okay.
There is always a time in your life or in your career where you struggle with sales, low sales.
Yeah.
But it shouldn't be something that makes you to stop, because sometimes you work so hard, like you put in the work into creating content, you do so many things, and it's still not going to give you any positive feedback.
Yeah.
So, but you have to keep pushing. You can't just stop, because eventually I believe that when you stop, that's your failing point. So you have to just keep on going, because when you started, it wasn't easy and you were able to achieve so much. So why stop now? Even if you're going to have one or two.
During that time, how do you manage to fund your business? How do you manage to keep going?
I just kept showing up every single day. I don't give up.
When was the first time you realized, oh, this business is actually going to be good?
I think it was 2024, 2025. Because there's this yearly Ramadan sales that we usually do.
Okay.
And I think that's one of the greatest things we do for our business that shows me we're actually doing well, because I wish you can see the numbers.
Yeah.
I will see people from so many countries, Ghana, Togo, UK,
Wow.
US, ordering from us during those sales. Even though, yes, on normal days, you get orders from other people like outside of the country.
Yeah.
But seeing so many countries that I've never
From
heard of,
international
yeah,
yes.
ordering from us means that, oh, I'm actually doing something
And
good.
that's actually interesting, because it's not just your advertisement that got you. It could be referrals, it could be testimonies from so many customers. So if it's actually not working, it can't get to that level.
That's true.
Do you experience failure before finding success? Before getting to this moment?
Everybody does.
Yes, the reason why I'm asking, because some people will never think, they will never assume, because you always come out glowing, you represent,
Yeah.
you're showing up, So many people will never believe there were actually difficult times in your business.
I don't even know what to say, but there have been days where you feel like, oh, what am I even doing? Is this even going to work? Am I just doing this for fun, or should I just give up? Do you get?
Yeah.
Because every business, sometimes it might not be financial difficulty. Sometimes it can be mental difficulty.
Yeah.
And there are days where I'll just maybe take a month off without showing up because I
Wow.
just feel tired. Sometimes maybe you're not getting the support you need, because as humans, you always need support. So, but I believe in prayer. Sometimes when you feel down as maybe a Muslim woman, you tend to cry to your Lord, of course, and things will get better with time.
So what separates your brand, Phenomena by Mariam, from other beauty brands? How did you stand out?
Phenomenal. We are phenomenal. That's just it.
Okay. So many people believe entrepreneurship can be especially challenging for young women in northern Nigeria. You know, we've talked about that before.
Yeah.
That has been your experience.
Yeah.
Have you ever been underestimated because of your age, because of your religion, or because of your culture?
Yeah, I have, because I think when it comes to my age, people don't usually believe that I'm 25. They assume I'm older.
Yeah.
Because of how I think. And I've always think I'm mature than my age because I'm always around people who are doing better than I am, or people that are way older, because I'm someone that likes to learn. So I don't want to stay within maybe low-minded people. I like to interact with people that are doing way bigger. So when I interact with people my age, they'll be like, oh, are you sure you're 25?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think,
Interesting.
yeah.
Were there any sacrifices you make in order for you to be where you are today?
I've made quite a few, but it's not something I want to mention here.
But how were you able to, do that, to walk through?
I'm
This is for so
stubborn.
many northern women that are looking up to you. You never
Yeah.
can tell. So many women are looking up to you. Even if you know women and pride, they might never come and say, oh, we admire you or something. They
Yeah.
might be part of those people that come to your comment section and say, I wonder what is she even doing? But they wish to be like you.
That's true.
So how are you able to, maneuver challenges?
Honestly, I think it's for you to just grow a thick skin, because when you come out on social media, there are so many people who come at you, especially men. Do you get? Sometimes you even get the harshest of comments from women like you, and you'll be like, oh, why is a woman attacking me? Are you not supposed to be proud of me? Do you
Yes.
get? But I feel when you're growing, at some point it gets to you, because someone will say, oh, she's a prostitute. Do you get it? Of course it's going to get to you, because you know you're not a prostitute.
Yes.
You're just simply here existing and looking for your own money. So you have to grow a very thick skin so that anybody that says anything about you doesn't get to you, because I believe that anybody that wants to be successful, or anybody that wants to be known or build a legacy, there were times where they were like insulted. There were so many harsh words thrown at them. So you just have to believe that for you to be that person too, you have to go through that, and you have to not let it get to you.
Let's move away from the society now. How was your family? How did they react when you decide to, move away from, for someone who have professional parents, move away from being a professional to an entrepreneur? What was their reaction?
My parents have always supported me. As I told you, my parents are go-getters, and they've never limited me for once. But of course, here and there, they always say, oh, you're supposed to marry, because maybe your age mates are married with kids, and they feel like, oh, maybe even if, because
Or maybe they're just scared you're exposed.
Yeah, and they said that sometimes men don't like highly intellectual women.
Wow.
They will tell you that, oh, you should not aim too high, because men will be intimidated by your success. Do you get all of those tiny?
That is what we get in Africa. For other places, other continents, I think they might say that, oh, this person is intelligent. She's even, it's like a criteria for a good woman to be married. But in Africa here, men get intimidated.
Of course.
And especially, and let this not come from me, but I think northern men get intimidated because this person is intelligent.
Yeah, of course.
Why is that? Does it
I-
affect the marriage? Does it affect?
I think let me give you an instance with me. There was a time I was seeing someone and it led to marriage talk. And he was like, oh, I don't think I can ever marry you, Mariam, because you're just too stubborn. And I don't think you're going to be a submissive wife because you think highly of yourself. Do you get? And he think that's, oh, because I have my business, I run my business, that he doesn't have anything over me that he can control me with, because you know men use money to control women.
Yeah.
So what if you have your own, you have leverage, they can't use anything against you because they know that you're going to go into the marriage because you genuinely want to be married, not because of him providing for you.
Yeah.
Even though the sole purpose of men is to provide, right? But still they feel like, oh, maybe she has her own money, I can't control her. But you're not supposed to want to control anybody, Abby.
Of course.
Yeah.
What does submissive have to do with someone that is
Exactly.
intellectual?
So men tend to, I've had so many cases, and I think it's one of the reasons why my parents think that, oh, you need to like
Slow down.
because it's chasing all the men away. But I believe that a real man would go for a real woman.
Yeah.
And someone that is doing well for herself.
It doesn't
And you
matter
can, yeah,
if
you
she's-
should support her, because as a man, you're supposed to support, you're supposed to protect, and you're supposed to provide. So if you feel intimidated by my little success, because mostly you would want to marry someone who is doing way better than you are, right? So that's just how many are
That's so,
nowadays.
it's actually very funny because I
Yeah.
do not see what is intimidating about that, because a woman has high intellectual values, a woman
Yeah.
has a money. It doesn't stop her from being submissive. I think they're just
Exactly.
being intimidated for nothing.
Yeah.
So do you think, because of this now, what you've just said, do you think, especially in Nigeria, do you think enough opportunity exists for northern women to thrive in business?
Of course, there are a lot of opportunities for you to venture in. There are so many type of businesses. You see fashion. Fashion, I think, is one of the most growing industry here in Nigeria. So you can venture in that. Hair care as well, makeup, cooking. Like there are so many things you can venture in. And I don't think just because you're a woman, you should feel like, oh, maybe there is no enough business for even real estate. You can be an engineer, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
It doesn't limit you just because you're a woman. You can go for, if you want to be president, you can be one.
Of course.
Yeah.
You know, when some men hear that you want to be president, it just feels like you're just saying trash.
Yeah.
You're not enough to mention that you want to be president. May God
If I
help.
want to be president, I'm going to be president because I believe in myself.
Of course, because what different does it make that a man said, okay, I want to be president, to a woman saying, I want to be president? So let's go for another break. We'll be back shortly. We've talked about what brought about Phenomenal by Maria. And when we come back, we'll be talking about business itself. It's not just about the beauty, it's about the sacrifices and the readiness to be able to thrive in whatever challenges you're facing in business. Let's go for a quick break. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this has been Spotlight On, and I've been here with Mariam Barra. We've been talking about what inspired Phenomenal by Mariam. A lot of you would have learned that no matter how hard your hair is as an African woman, there's actually a solution. That's if you can afford it. Moving away from what inspired her brand, we'll be talking about the business trusts. Beauty is a competitive industry.
Yeah.
Why should customer trust your product?
Okay. I think I've answered this before, but I'm going to repeat it because I've always said that a brand should be as transparent as possible. And through that, you're going to earn people's trust.
Yeah.
Right? So when you come out to tell people, as I've said earlier, that, oh, my product makes your hair grow.
Yeah.
Then when people use your product, then you should be able to make their hair grow.
Yeah. Talk to us about quality control. How important is quality control, maintaining that same quality and making sure that no one is adulterating your product?
I think for me it's because I make everything by myself. You get, I from the production to packaging and everything, I do it. And in cases where I don't have to do it, I have to be there to supervise and make sure that everything is up to a standard. So there's nothing about maybe well, how should I put it, compromising your quality because, or maybe let's say for example, the economy is no longer smiling at people.
Yeah.
So certain products or certain raw materials that we'd want to get for your product or for your production, it's going to, you just have to do it. You can actually maybe increase the price of your product to maintain the same quality, but I don't believe in keeping the same price but then reducing the quality of a product.
Okay, you know, there are sometimes when no matter how you try to satisfy customers, there are people that will always complain. It might be even from competitors.
Yeah, sure.
Have you ever experienced customer criticizing your product?
Of course I do. I'm always open to suggestions and professional criticism, right? And I always tell people that when you shop from us, please, I would want to know your feedback. And we've gotten so many feedbacks, but out of the feedbacks we've gotten, I think we've gotten 98% positive reviews. And but those 2% percentage, I've taken it so important to actually know what the cause is because you can't satisfy everybody, number one. But then you actually, the opinions are also valid. So you have to look into what is it, what don't you like, how can we improve, and how can we make this better for you.
So you've dominated social media a lot.
Yeah.
Talk to us about how social media have helped your business. Because we've been talking about how social media is difficult, how there can be backlash and all of that. But how has it also helped your business?
I think social media is one of the greatest marketing tools because that way you tend to reach a broader audience worldwide. It doesn't have to be Nigeria. And that was how I was able to generate my own audience through social media. Because without social media, I wouldn't know any customer from the UK or from anywhere apart from like, even in Nigeria, you have to go out and be saying, oh, hey, excuse me, I'm selling hair products. You get, so.
Let's talk about your success. Let's talk about the pressures that come with success and the expectation from people, you know, trying to meet up, trying to, you know, represent anytime to show that, okay, you're actually earning from this business. Do you actually believe that success comes with pressure?
I can't really say where we want to be, but alhamdulillah, we've come a long way because I believe growth takes time. But success for me is just being able to give back. And it's not always about money because people always attach money to success. It's not money for me. It's just about building a customer base where they genuinely love and support my journey.
Yeah. But do you sometimes feel pressure to constantly want to prove yourself?
Not really. I just want people to know this brand is here to change your life, so please come and buy from us.
But how do you advertise for a Muslim lady? You know, the hair is always covered.
Yeah.
How do you advertise? Because you are like the first customer to those products.
Yeah.
So how do you get people to believe, oh, this is actually working?
Okay, so I've had cases where at first I started marketing using my own hair. And you know, as Muslim women, sometimes you can be a hijabi today and you cannot be, maybe you would want to, you know, your fit is always fluctuating and all of that. So I started with opening my hair and then eventually people started sharing their own hair with me.
Okay.
So, and anytime somebody shares their hair with me, oh, Mariam, this was my hair before and this is my hair now, I always ask them, is it okay for me to share? Because I want to show people. If you say it's not okay with you, I'm not going to post. But then minority of my customers wanted to have their hair shared online. So I think that's one of the things that people saw or are still saying that keeps them coming back because the results don't lie. When you see this product actually works on someone, you're also going to be like, oh,
inspired.
Let me try this product. Maybe it's going to work for me. I need to.
So we've talked about where Phenomenal by Mariam is coming from. you wanting to look beautiful, so it translated to you wanting to make people beautiful.
Yeah.
But where is Phenomenal by Mariam at this time?
All I want to say is you're only just getting started.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you guys are going beyond the sky.
Exactly.
That's awesome. But now many young people look up to you. Do you see yourself as a role model?
I am actually to my younger siblings and to other younger women online. I've met so many amazing women where they told me that, oh, Mariam, you inspire me so much.
Yeah.
Almost every single day, I get messages from people that, oh, Mariam, you inspire me. I want to be like you. I always tell them you can be better because I also want to be better. I am not where I want to be.
Does that
yet.
come with any feeling of responsibility?
Of course, you can't feel them. You can't feel the younger generation because I'm also young, but there are like teens looking up to me who believe that, oh, if Mariam can do it, I can also do it. So why feel?
What's your fear, like your concern about young women entering business today?
Honestly, I don't think I have any fear because I
You
believe,
think every woman can thrive?
yeah, we can if you set your mind to it. I believe what people struggle with is the courage to start. But once you have the courage to start, you can achieve anything. It's just for you to find the courage and who are you within? What do you want to achieve? Is it either you want to be popular online or
Because this person is doing this, I also want to
exactly,
do
or
it.
do you have something that's within yourself that you feel like, oh, you can give it back to the world?
Yeah.
So it's not just about making a name, but it's about making a real impact.
But don't you think women also need to learn financial literacy for them to be able to thrive? It's not just about making the products, but about financial literacy.
I think the world is really evolving, and women are really learning about financial literacy, as you've said. Even women that have not been to schools.
Okay.
I think the
that's
world
nice.
is really, really changing, and we've been getting a lot of improvement.
Let's talk about mentorship. Do you think mentorship actually help in business thriving?
Of course it does. I have mentors. I have women I look up to. I have them sometimes when you feel stuck, you tend to reach out to them. And I always tell people too that anytime you need advice, reach out to me. I can advise you. I also have people that I take advice from. Sometimes you feel stuck, you don't know what you do, but there are like women that are doing far better than you. So you reach out to them and be like, oh, please, I need your help. How am I going to overcome this? I'm facing so. And they'll put you through.
Talking about being a mentor now, what kind of legacy do you think you want to leave for younger girls?
I want when young women think about phenomenal, they think about honesty, quality, and femininity. And I want them to know that it's possible to break the stereotype. It's possible to achieve whatever it is that you set your mind to, and that I want them to believe that you can build something meaningful, because people will always talk, whether you're doing well or not.
So you need to go to the
Exactly,
the
you
market
have to
with a
close
thick
your
skin.
ears, go for
Yeah.
what you want, and I think because people talk, so you don't just put that energy into defending yourself, because you don't defend yourself to people. They always have something to say about you. So you use that energy to put it into your work and grow your business, because I always say that let your results speak for you, and because results don't lie. So whatever you do, people are watching. So if you're doing bad, it's going to be there. If you're doing good, the results are going to be there.
So you need to actually make it out of that business for you to reply to people. That is like your reply to your
Exactly.
commentators or people.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Mariam. Let's move to the part where we ask hard questions. Okay. So, do you think entrepreneurship sometimes is romanticized on social media? The way social media makes it look like it's quite easy. If you just start now, you start making money.
I think entrepreneurship teaches you patience more than anything.
Wow.
And it's not always as glamorous as people think, because for me, it has really humbled me. There are days where I cried my eyes out, because there was always going to be bad days and good days.
Yeah.
But you have to be resilient to
Yeah,
keep
keep
pushing.
going.
Yeah, even if things don't work out for you, you just have to keep pushing.
So, do you think passion alone can build your business?
I don't think so. You can, yeah, I don't think so. Because I've always had passion for so many things, but you have to have hard work as well. And I don't believe in luck, but I believe in prayers. Because once you pray about something and you have the yaqeen that it's going to work,
Yeah.
it's truly going to
That
work.
is you actually being a very realistic person.
Yeah.
If you work hard, you're going to get it.
Yeah.
If you sleep over it, you're going to lose
Exactly.
it. Okay. So what is the biggest misconception do you think people have about entrepreneurs?
I think the biggest misconception is that just because you're an entrepreneur, automatically you're a rich person. Being an entrepreneur doesn't mean you are rich. It just means that you're striving to be rich. Because even Dangote started from somewhere. You can't just wake up and be like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur today and I'm rich. It takes time for you to grow that wealth. And it's not easy. It's not an easy road.
Yes, you see people, because they start selling futures, they're already calling themselves CEO, what, CEO, plastic bottle, CEO.
It's good to actually call yourself a CEO because I think sometimes speaking highly of yourself makes you push forward.
There was a time when the trend of this CEO, there was this trend of CEO chairs. You just see a little shop with few items, but the person selling has a large CEO chair in a shop. So that is people trying to, romanticize entrepreneurship.
I was like that before. I think I had my little shop then and I was calling myself a CEO, and today here I'm being a CEO.
Yes, of course, you are the CEO, you've called yourself. I think you're what you think of yourself.
Yeah.
Do you think women still work harder than men in this time and age?
Of course.
Before they assess them as being credibility?
Of course. I've said before that for you to achieve something here in northern Nigeria, you have to work twice as hard for people to take you seriously. So imagine you can have two people pitching a business to you. Let's say maybe you go to an office looking for a job. Rest assured, they are going to take the man seriously because they don't believe that women
Can actually do that.
That's true.
Do you think business and family can coexist? You can manage both together?
Of course. Why not? We have mothers and wives who are breaking the stereotype, who are doing very well in the world. So why should you feel like just because you're a woman you cannot do something? I think it should actually make you, because I believe women are strong and we're resilient and we're go-getters.
And I think they are much more patient.
Yeah, we
So
are.
that's why maybe they thrive more when it comes to entrepreneurship.
Exactly.
Okay, what has been your biggest personal failure? It could be away from the business now.
I really can't think of any. Have I failed? I sometimes ask myself this, but have I really failed? I don't think so.
Mariam, if everything disappear today, all of this business disappear tomorrow or today, could you build it all again?
Of course I will. I've already hacked the system.
So tell me that one decision that changed your life.
I think it's societal expectations. My ears are off. I don't hear anything. So because when anyone tells me that, oh, Mariam, you should go and get married, my ears are off. Of course, I would want to marry. Everybody wants to get married.
But you don't have to be the one to tell
Exactly. I'm going to get married when you feel you're ready to get married. So you don't tell someone to just go and marry. And that's just it.
Let's talk about the future. Let's talk about Phenomena with Mariam. In the future, where do you see this brand in the future?
I think, I don't even think, I'm sure that Phenomenal is going to be one of the biggest beauty brands in Africa and beyond Africa.
Yes, I would like to even ask that, do you see yourself international? But it seems we are already international.
Yeah.
Is there a new product you are about giving us that excites you?
That should be a surprise.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Would you like to, someday mentor some entrepreneurs? So
Of course, in the future, I would love to do that.
tell us a legacy your brand would leave, even if you are all grown, passed away, even if you are alive, generations to come. What do you want this brand to hold?
I want when people remember hear Phenomenal, they remember trust, honesty, believing in yourself, and building something meaningful. I want Phenomenal to create opportunities for other women because right now I have a lot of women who work for Phenomenal. So I want to create opportunities for older women, and I want people to know that yes, you can be able to achieve anything because I have done it, so can you.
If you can think it,
Yeah.
you can get it.
Exactly.
So you're 25 now.
Yes.
Let's multiply it. Let's go to 50.
Okay.
What does success look like at 50?
I should be at home enjoying my money by then. Yeah.
Relaxing.
Yeah.
Should you be retiring at that moment?
I don't think I will retire at 50 because I love to work. But if the money is set, why not? I'll just be using the money to.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Mariam. It's been an interesting conversation, talking about business, talking about creating a brand from nothing, and facing stereotype, social media backlash when it comes to religion and culture, but still coming out strong. Now we're moving on to the last segment of this spotlight on the rapid fire, where you're given the opportunity to mention one word. This is where you relax, play the game, and we'll round up.
Okay.
So, what do you think? Business or comfort?
Business.
Okay. Growth or stability?
Stability.
Profit or purpose?
Purpose.
Tradition or innovation?
Innovation.
Why does it look like you're just picking the last words?
No.
Okay, risk or security?
Risk.
So many people will say risk, but not everybody can actually risk. Money or impact?
Impact.
Leadership or influence?
Leadership.
Okay. Failure or regret?
Failure.
Books or podcast?
Podcast.
Okay. Money or night?
Night.
One word that defines Mariam Barwa.
Phenomenal.
That's interesting. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. This has been Spotlight on S24 television, and I've had interesting conversation with Mariam Barwa. If you are an African woman and you think there's nothing that can be done about your beauty, especially when it comes to your hair, this is the time for you to change your mindset. We got products for you that's increase the length of the hair and even soften it to look like an international lady, because that is what people always strive to get this kind of hair that we see on India.
No, this Phenomenal is trying to make you love your own hair.
Okay.
Not trying to look like someone else.
You've heard from Mariam Barwa,
Yeah.
and that is what we give you from Phenomenal by Mariam. Goodbye for now. My name is Zainab Ibrahim, and I remain your host.
This is John Costa reporting for S24 here in Zaria, and we're at the palace of the Emir of Zazal, and I'm absolutely delighted that His Highness has taken the time to speak to us today. So thank you very much for taking the time to speak.
Thank you.
And it's a great honour to be here, so thank you for that.
Same here. You're welcome.
One of the main reasons that I'm particularly keen to talk to you is not only in your role as the Emir, but having been a diplomat and a banker and a lawyer in the past, and having done this exalted role now for 6 years. What kind of approach do you take when you inherit this position after someone that's run it for 45 years and it now comes to you? How do you allay the fears of people that are worried that maybe you'll modernise or not keep to certain traditions? It must be quite a challenge.
Thank you very much, John, for this very interesting question. First and foremost, as of 2020, I was the magazine in Zazo, like Lord Mayor, and the second most senior member of the royal family. And at that time, I was, the most senior, because the one that was supposed to be number one and I was supposed to be number two had passed on for almost 10 years, So I was the only one in the forefront. And I held that position for 19 years when I succeeded my late father in 2001. And prior to that time, I was representing my father for 20 years in the same position. So technically, I spent about 39 years in that strategic, position of Magajingari. Since when I was in secondary school, I was representing him in most of the, functions of the emirate for about 20 years. And then, when he passed on in 2001, I became substantive Magajingari. So for another 19 years. And it was on the 20th year that I ascended this, position. So it was not a new thing to me entirely, but,
And people were aware of you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was very
You were not an unknown entity.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I was very familiar with the system. I was one of the prominent in all sense of humanity. And I was supporting, even though I was not resident here to work in the palace, but all important issues, were being assigned, to me by the late emir, especially issues bordering on, diplomatic community. I know that I was in the diplomatic service at that time, but anything to do with the diplomatic community, yes, he assigned that responsibility to me. And I was the one interfacing between the emirate and, all the diplomatic communities. Even though I have a pedigree, from coming from a family of, pioneers in the foreign service. My late father happened to be the first minister of state in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs at Nigerian independence in 1960. And in 1965, he became the main minister in the ministry up to the coup that, terminated the First Republic in Nigeria, January 15th, 1966. And I was born about 6 months after. So by the 8th of June this year, I'll be 60. So the day I was born again, I was appointed Nigerian ambassador to Pakistan by General Iransi under the military, even though he turned it down. So you can see I had, a relationship, to the diplomatic cycle. And my late younger brother was the head of mission in Morocco up until his death. He was also ambassador. He died 2 years ago, while he was still in Morocco. So we have some relationship with Nigerian Foreign Service. So you can see the connection there. So going into foreign service, I think, was normal to me. I see it as, service to the country, and this is what I wanted to do. Even when I was growing as a child, as a student, I wanted to be a diplomat, but my father didn't want me to go away. I was the eldest surviving child. Even though I had brothers, a brother and a sister that passed on, I didn't even know them. My late brother would have been 90 this year. He was born 36. He was 30 years older than me. So old enough to be my father. So you can see the age gap between me and my father. So my father didn't want me to leave home and disappear, the world, and go on diplomatic service at that time. He said, yes, if I want to do it, I can do it much later in life, but his health was failing and he was getting very old. So he needed me around. So my late brother ventured into foreign service from the beginning. Actually, he was hired into the foreign service. His first day at work was the day our father died also. So it was a sweet and sour, appointment. So that's the connection there. So you can see from the traditional side, I have been in the system.
You've been involved in this game for a long time.
Absolutely.
One of the interesting things as well, I guess, is when you go and you travel and you see other places, sometimes there's a fear of that you'll come back and bring modernity with you,
Yes.
Whereas in fact, it seems to me like you've gone and seen these other places and realised actually there's a great deal of value in tradition and heritage and culture and keeping it preserved as a way of developing your nation and your state.
Correct.
But also, I mean, your late predecessor being appointed in 1975 was pre-mobile phones, pre-smartphones, pre the internet, and for 45 years, you gradually become more modern. But simply because we've got smartphones, it doesn't mean we have to give up our values or change our traditions.
Yeah, well, you see, we have seen empires and kingdoms that vanished, from this planet. Why? Why did they vanish? Because they refuse to accept, changes and modernity. So I believe if you want any system to survive, you have to accept, a modern, development, be it in technology, scholarship, name them, different areas. You have to embrace it. You have to embrace changes and, and adapt also in certain places. And then secondly, there is need for any right-thinking person, to not to remain in his shell, at least to come out of your shell, and then explore, find out how things are being done elsewhere more efficiently without, moving away or destroying your own heritage and culture. That's my own approach. I don't have any intention, to destroy all the, the physical infrastructure as well as, the way the system is being run. No, but it is imperative for me, to use my knowledge of how things are being done in line with best practice, and while carrying or using a strategy, traditional strategy, and of course introducing best ways of handling issues. You cannot say now, okay, because you have to climb kind of a platform to call for prayers, as against using microphone, to call, which can reach so many people, different, very long destinations. So those archaic traditions, yes, they happen or they were very good at different times, but today we need to move forward. And that's the reason why, we have preserved some historical sites in this palace. And those places that went down completely, like here where we're seated, it was horrible when I came. With some building that had collapsed and went down completely. So I felt that since those buildings were not of any significance, and they went down completely, I felt I needed this place, my study here. And I spend the whole day here after working hours. So I come back to the garden here. I either sit in the gazebo there or sit here. And then I have a small mosque here for my 5 daily prayers. So my life, is centered around this area. Unlike my predecessors, in that time, like the immediate past in is from the council chamber to his room, and then to that small shed in front of his apartment. That's all. So in this modern time, of course, you can't survive that kind of life.
And so modernization is not about scrapping the past.
It's
about
not.
bringing in
It's
and
not.
adapting. So you can
Exactly.
keep climbing the platform for
Absolutely.
big traditional events,
Yes.
whereas the day-to-day
Like, for
practicality-
example, now we had an incident, 2 years ago. The mosque outside went down. It was a very painful decision. After several consultations with experts, I had no option but to pull it down because it went down on a Friday, and some people were crushed to death. So when the idea of removing the structure there that was built in the 1830s, it was a very difficult decision, sentiments, and even me personally, I didn't want to pull down the structure. But, all the experts, about 6, 7 different organizations, professional organizations, said the material used in building the mosque had expired. So if I still wanted, that same, design, yes, it can be done, but with different materials.
but build it for another couple of 100 years for it to last that length of time.
But it was there for 182 years.
Yeah.
So now what we're building today, I believe it will, maybe God willing, stay for the next 300-500 years.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's my approach. And even internally, there's a building that's almost 5 centuries there. What did I do when I came? I preserved and then restored, the areas that were bad. So it's looking very well now, and a lot of things, correspondences, literary works, correspondences between Zazzau and Sokoto Caliphate since 1804. Yes, we have those correspondences. This is to preserve our heritage and also our history. So because it is now that we have just finished, writing a book, a compendium, history of Sokoto Zazzau Emirate from 1804 to date. They're just reviewing the book now, and God willing, I'm looking at. I'm not sure if it will be possible on my birthday in June, but maybe in the next 1 month or 2, I will, present it to the public. So I have reached that stage because I've already produced the dummy copy. So the book reviewer is going through the book, at least to make it simple.
I'll make sure that I take a copy back to England to my museum when I go.
Even if you are gone, I'll surely send it to you to update your records. Because we realized that, there was a huge gap from 1950 to date. Nothing was documented about Zazzau Emirate. So this is about 75 years or thereabouts. So it's very wrong. So that's why
it was needed.
It was needed. There was a book written by one of the British colonial officers, and that's M.G. Smith. And it was published in 1950. So, and there were some contradictions certainly in the book. I saw Professor Moray last in London about 3 years ago. He told me that he had drawn the attention of M.G. Smith to make corrections in certain, areas in the book, but he didn't up to the time he passed on. So hence the reason why I was motivated to see how we can document the Emirate, for this period. So instead of just doing from 1950 to date, because the previous work was not ours and there were issues with the book. So I assembled a team of, 17 wise men, professors and, historians, to write, about 19 chapters. In the book, we have 19 emails from inception, 1804. That is the Fulani rule, 1804 to date. So each emir has a chapter of his period and about him and also his period. So I believe it is going to be a very good, document for people to know about our emirate. And again, the phase 2, which is supposed to be the phase 1 of the book, we want to write about the pre-Fulani period, that is the Habib rule, and the plan is, to also write just the way we did for the Fulanis, and then, have something solid we can brandish anywhere as our history, of Zozo Emirate, which will be all encompassing the Habib period and then the Fulani period. So we've started the Fulani period because that's our own period. We can lay our hands on those information. But you see, the Hausa period, was 700 years before the coming of the Fulani. Yes.
And that's the tradition that you have to bring together in this book in order to present to the world today,
Exactly.
to say that was the past. So if I can ask you two more
sure.
questions, as that's okay. This one's very much about today. You're a great advocate for peace and unity. And when you go to the State Council of Chiefs and you're talking about security, and again, a lot of people in the Western media or in the global north will see the insecurity in all of its forms in northern Nigeria in particular as a real big challenge. How do you have that peace and unity approach and draw on your diplomatic past, but also your understanding of the law as a lawyer, but also, the finances that are needed as a banker in order to do these things?
Well, you see, the issue of security, I don't think if there's any country in the world that is not interested in peace. I don't think. And going by that, I believe Nigeria cannot survive if there is no peace. And, of the problems, yes, differs from place to place. So that's exactly what is going on here. And I disagree with people who believe that, there are people here, especially we in the north here, that have been criminalized, that as if people are promoting, killings of. My professor then was one Professor Sultan Barakat. I see him every day now on CNN. He has gone back to another university, maybe in the Middle East or somewhere. You see, we were picked from, I think, about 12 conflicting countries at that time. Came from Nigeria, someone from Bosnia, someone from Israel, from Palestine, from Kenya, from Sierra Leone, from Ethiopia. All these countries, we all converge. They're full,
dealing with a
yes,
past.
Everybody
conflict.
presenting the conflict in his country. We diagnosed it, and then, of course, we got to understand the magnitude of the problems. Like Hada Farmer conflict. My dissertation at that time was on, a conflict between a tribe called Negatan and can't remember the other name. This conflict between the pastoralists, between Addis Ababa and Kenya. And someone did about my own country.
So my final question is about the future. And I think anybody in their right mind who comes to Nigeria and doesn't understand or see the amazing young people that exist, their ability to solve problems, we need to be working with young people to be able to help them to move forward and take Nigeria into the next decades as we go ahead.
About 200 students, from Kaduna State University. What are they coming here for? They are coming here to watch what we do, in terms of dispute resolution. Like dispute resolution, now we have been able to remove over 1,000 cases from the conventional courts in the last 2 years, to address it here under the alternative dispute resolution window. So, and that is making a lot of impact, and other related matters. We handle it here, and our people would rather come here because of the speedy dispensation of justice, almost instantly, as against you going through the lawyers. And on the conventional court, there will be adjourning matters.
Counterclaim.
Exactly. And it might take years for you before you get final, resolution on the matters.
I was 60 a few weeks ago, so can I be the first to wish you a happy 60th in June, a few weeks' time. Thank you very much.
Very much.
While working for somebody, I was never fulfilled as an individual. I always felt something was lacking. The Nigerian environment is very hard to work in. You're working against everything, or everything is working against you. You have an issue with the government, you have an issue with the clients, you have an issue with workers. But it can be surmountable. My name is Abdul Jalil Batagara. My interest in furniture making began when I was 10 years old, particular time when an uncle of mine made some chairs for my mom. I was so in love with what he did. So since then, I've been fascinated about furniture making. After graduating for university, I went to work at an investment bank for 7 years. After the investment bank, I went to work for the Nigerian government in a government parastatal, where I spent another 7 years working. While working for somebody, I was never fulfilled as an individual. I always felt something was lacking because my heart was in furniture making. And it got to a point where I said, what's the worst that could happen? The worst that could happen is for me to lose my salary. So I just took the risk, started making furniture. It was small, but it wasn't about the money. It was about the passion and the fulfillment. And then it's easy for you to be excellent at what you do because you have that knack to always be better and better and better and better. The money you get working for somebody with the money you get when you work for yourself. The money is not consistent like a salary is, but when you have a good period or month, you could make what you earn in a year. You can start with as little as a hand tool, a drill, and a saw. There are so many factories where you can go and process your material. So you don't need to buy equipment to be able to make furniture. But what you do need is passion. It's the passion to do it every day, do it every day, do it every day, because you don't reap the rewards in the beginning.
Hello, my name is John Costa, founder of the Conflict Memory Education Centre, an independent museum based in Leicester, UK. My vision was to have 10 documentary archives that focus on recent wars and periods of political violence. The aim is educational, offering material that helps people understand the lived experiences of those affected by conflict and how those experiences relate to wider historical and political development. Now, the Conflict Memory Education Centre, an independent registered museum, is designed to support formal and informal education. The material will be made available for use in workshops, academic courses and exhibitions. Through the use of documentary media, film, photography, audio recordings and new media, we will help to open up conversations about complex histories and their ongoing relevance. In this short explainer video, I'd like to show you the archive on Chechnya. Sinta. Sinta is from the Chechen word for sapling or small tree, and it will document the devastating consequences of both the First and Second Chechen Wars and the situation in modern-day Chechnya, a country largely invisible in Western media. The archive will include film and photography of Grozny and other urban areas, interviews with displaced civilians, and media documenting the long-term effects of the conflict. It will contribute to the limited but growing body of material accessible for understanding the impact of the wars on civilian populations in the Northern Caucasus, a region of the world that is still in our news today with its continued strained relations with Russia. Working alongside a veteran journalist with direct experience of both wars with Russia, the archive will attempt to give voice to those impacted directly and those in the diaspora who wish nothing more than to return home. By developing these archives, the Conflict Memory Education Centre contributes to the documentation of conflict from a community perspective. The project remains open to further contributions and partnerships. Now, I've created 4 archives already, focused on Afghanistan, Iraq, Ukraine and Nigeria. There are further 5 archives in the pipeline being launched before the end of the year. These include Sri Lanka, Pakistan, Cambodia, Rwanda and finally Latin America. We're still open for contributions and partnerships, so please do get in touch. Thank you for watching.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Spotlight on S24 television. Today, we're going to spotlight a topic that relates to the independence of Nigeria, 65 years, and what women have been able to get on the table for this 65 years. I know it's a long period. Together with me to dissect what women are actually getting in this current dispensation and to look back to 65 years ago is Honorable Zainab Buba Galadima. She's a lot of things at once, so I'll just give the mic to her to do introduction. Can you please take us through what you do?
Okay, I'm a mother, an entrepreneur, a poet, a social change advocate, and not a full politician anymore. Yes, so that's what
you wear so many, will I say carbs, or what will I call it? You do a lot of things.
Yes, I
Welcome
do.
to the show again.
Thank
So being that Nigeria is still in the mood of independence, 65th independence anniversary, and you're a woman, you've ventured into politics, you've seen the way women are given seat on the table. What will you describe that as 65 years on? And you can trickle it down to, say, in the past, maybe 8 years, 9 years. What seats do you think, relevant seats, are women given on the table as it is?
Well, I know there's a mandatory seat. For example, maybe Commissioner of Women Affairs, Minister of Women Affairs. Those ones are given, and just a few others. But not as much as, not up to 35%, which is, I feel like it's very, very low. And also when it comes to electoral offices, not many women are being given those opportunities. Well, I know it's a contest, and it's really hard for women to, scale through when they aspire to any of those seats. So because of so many factors that affects, maybe funding, maybe lack of mentorship, maybe the godfatherism aspect, or basically lack of support. So a lot of women are going through that. And I feel like we could change a lot of things when we come together as women and we find men that really have that kind of
Zeal.
Yeah, zeal or mindset of seeing women progress, and the he for she kind of men. those men that would support any woman. But I don't want just any woman. It's not about just any woman. It's about women that have something to offer.
Yeah.
Women that are competent, women that are consistent in anything good that they do. So these are the challenges. And
So I'm 65 years on. I'm sure that you've got so many things to say. As it is in the country, the economic situation, the poverty rate, the multi-dimensional poverty rate in Nigeria, and all of that are things that people are really concerned about. 65 years on, what do you think in the past years is changing in terms of getting people economically empowered?
well, I think a lot of people are seeking other alternatives to become economically independent, not really relying on the government. People are creating opportunities for themselves, which is very big now, especially in the North, for example. A lot of women are doing businesses, they're engaging in businesses, they're holding the family together. So these are things. And with the coming of technology, a lot of people are venturing into, innovative things. And I think it's another aspect, but sometimes the government doesn't really encourage people to be on their own.
Enabling environment.
The enabling environment, the ease of doing business is not so great because of how things have deteriorated and how expensive things are. Because you cannot run a business without having, an operating capital kind of thing, or there's so many charges or taxes around. So these are things that needs to be looked into and make small businesses thrive, and there should be some support from the government. And also a lot of people need to, if you're getting into a business or if you're getting into anything, you need to have better knowledge of what you're getting yourself into. You need to be well equipped, so that when you start, you won't make as much mistakes
or you don't get stuck on the way.
Yes. So these are the things.
65 years on, would you say Nigeria is truly independent?
Not really. We're not. We just think we are. We think, the idea of being independent, I think that is what is in our heads. But I don't feel we're there yet. Because we still depend on other countries to borrow us money. We still depend on so many things. We copy so many things. And I feel like there's so much we can offer as a country with human capital resources, with mineral resources, natural resources. But I still feel like we're not utilizing what God has given us. This morning, somebody called me and was wishing me happy Independence Day. I was like, I don't really feel free because, first of all, when you want to recite the national anthem, it's a bit of a challenge because they changed it and a lot of us are finding it difficult to keep to the words. So that's number one. The act of patriotism,
It's no longer there?
It's no longer
it's
there.
really minimal?
It's minimal. People forget that this is the country they should love. People forget about that. And you don't blame them because so many people are concerned about the challenges they face every single day. So it's really, most Nigerians are a bit disappointed and enfranchised on a lot of things. So really, if they would be asked this question, I think they would want us to be better.
So would you say when you came out this morning, I'm sure that you've been to multiple places today.
Yes.
What mood did you see in Nigerians? When it is Independence Day, you see celebratory mood everywhere. What mood did you see? And do you think that Nigerians still got a kind of belief that this country will work?
Well, the mood I saw, it's just a regular mood. I just saw one person just selling flags and he was just waving them around. That was all I saw.
Which is not the normal.
Yeah, it's not, because usually we have Independence Day party, people in their homes, they celebrate. Do you understand? They call friends, they come together, there will be fireworks and all those things. So, we've lost that. The motivation is not really there. And on your question about how...
Whether there is belief in people's faces?
Not really, because there's not much trust going on. And I just hate to be a party pooper or somebody that likes to be negative all the time, but you can't help it. Sometimes this is what is happening. So I just wish things would change for better. I just wish a lot of our leaders consider the path of transparency and accountability and service as well.
Do you think it's something achievable? Because when you say transparency and accountability, we're far from it as a country.
Yes.
Because as citizens, we are not doing our own due diligence to make sure that we hold people in places of authority accountable. Because, of course, you elected someone. You should be able to follow through whatever it is. Do you think it is doable to get leaders accountable and transparent in their dealings?
Absolutely. It is very possible. People are getting more enlightened. I know it's not something that you can just do tomorrow or in 2027, but it's a gradual process. Many developing countries had to go through so many hurdles to be able to get to where they are. So as Nigerians, as citizens, we have a lot to do. Because I think that if we choose our leaders this way and we do not ask for transparency or accountability, it is our fault. So if these leaders know that if you get there, this is what we expect from you, this would encourage them to fix the system, because we have a systemic problem. It's not even about the individual. Like I always say, no matter how bad somebody is, as long as the system works, it will take care of that person's excesses. But if there isn't, then we keep getting the same crop of leaders in a very bad way, and they keep getting worse. And every single day you see a leader, if he leaves, they'll be like, oh, we wish this one comes back.
Yeah.
You know, so it's the system. You know, sometimes I've been on corridors of power. I've been in positions where at least I contributed my own quota. Sometimes if you mean well and you really want to serve the people, it's really hard, because there are so many factors that limit you.
Next?
That limit you to actually, you know, doing your best sometimes. And then at the end of the day, your best is not really noticeable or doesn't really make a difference, especially if you're the only one that has the vision. So we really have a lot of work to do from the home front. We've lost the family values in the society. We've lost there's moral decadence. You know, things like this. These are things that we need to address. If not, then I don't know where we would go, because there's so many issues that are just waiting to explode.
Yeah, like a ticking time bomb.
Yeah, so we really...
It's a lot. So what does independence mean to you personally?
This one. Well, really, to be honest, I don't feel the zeal. I don't feel it anymore. Every single day you just keep getting disappointed. And so sometimes you lose that touch, you know. But I just wish really what independence means is for us as a people, the owners of this land, be able to pilot the affairs of our country properly for progress and for a greater nation.
Free of any external or internal influence somewhere.
There are influences. Is the one you choose. You know, it can be positive, it can be negative, but be smart about it. Be diplomatic about it.
You know, the problem is that according to paper, we are independent, but a lot of people still see that Nigeria is under neocolonialism.
Yes.
So why do we get to election circles and our maybe aspirant needs to go somewhere else to prove to the world that they are vying for that position? It's really a crazy thing. As a part-time politician,
Yeah.
I know there are a lot you might want to do as a person, but if you don't have that political seat, you're not able to effect that change. Do you ever think women can take seat of power in Nigeria and make a difference? Because, you know, there is the notion that women are the weaker gender. And then some will even say we've got a type of brain that probably we're not able to go for a position of leadership. And as Muslims, there is restrictions in some certain way. Do you think women can make a difference? They can do better than their male counterpart if given opportunities on the national scale? Say, for instance, apart from being governor, say, we vie for the presidency.
Maybe steps. But when you say women are weaker, I don't believe that. I know that
that's a notion.
Yeah, that's a
Not
notion.
for myself.
But I feel like they come from a place of emotions. You know, we do use
We're
our
emotional,
emotion. We're very
yeah.
emotional, you know. But when you look at, is it Venezuela? You know, a lot, they're doing very well, and women are their leaders. So there are women that, you know, you know, there are women that have the, you know, that are lion-hearted. There are women that actually really mean well. They really want to do well, and if given the opportunity, they would. And same like men. There are men that are weak. You know, they can't really, you know, they get influenced easily. They're not. So it just depends on who the person is. So I don't believe in women being weak. I believe that, yes, we are emotional, but once you have a strong woman with great discipline and determination, with strong emotional intelligence, I feel like she could do a lot more, you know? So positions, yeah, we can. But the thing is, let your value speak before your voice. I think once you have that and you so much believe in yourself and your self-worth, I feel you can go places. Despite the restrictions. Yeah.
So what should we expect from you as a part-time politician in the progress of Nigeria?
Well, I am just concerned about my social change advocacy. That's what I want to, you know, be strong about. I'm not really interested in running for office now, because I think it's a bit of a hassle, and I have some personal issues I need to take care of. So it's not, but on my own part, and being in politics doesn't mean having to run for office. You could be in the background and make contributions that are,
like you see in so many
Yes,
advanced
yes.
world, you find people fully involved in partisan politics. I mean, in the party level,
Yes.
but they are not the faces you see contesting for elections. I just don't know why it's only in our nation that once you are a politician, you're
just
expected to
automatically-
or you're in
Yes.
a partisan politics, you're expected to just vie for office.
And
we'll
the-
change that.
Yeah, and it's just advocacy, you know, telling people that it's not just, you know, running for office. You know, there are appointive positions. You know, there are people that go through the civil service
Right.
and they're doing well. You know, so there's a lot women can do, and you know, other people can do, and you can also create your own opportunity, set up something that will give you a place at the table. And really, now there are some establishments that really, there are no tables. They don't even invite women, young people. So you bring your own table and start it up. So that's
Before
what I
your
do.
one message to call it a day, I would like to do like a fireside round, like 2 or 3 questions.
Okay.
So if you have to choose between protest or writing to appropriate authorities for change, what will you choose?
None.
Why?
Because when you write, probably it doesn't really even see the light of day. And when you protest, sometimes miscreants
Take over.
take over. And even if sometimes you mean well, the other people you're protesting against, they try to, you know, disarm you by using authorities and other things. So I think it's dialogue. You know, once you have numbers, they don't like numbers. Just like I said earlier, they don't like numbers. So instead of protesting, you could, you know, penetrate, you know, different mindsets. And when they see that manifesting, I think that's something that could make a difference. But I don't know. I just feel like Nigeria is not a place where due process actually sees the light of day. You can write 1 million times and the person that you wrote to doesn't even know you're doing. Just like when you submit a CV, you just find it at Mikose's, you know,
Table.
So exactly, that is what will happen, because there are some people that would see that paper and it affects them, and they would not want that paper to go further.
For people who don't know what Miyokose is, it's actually a
Akara
beans
seller.
cake fryer seller.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you had to choose between democracy and military rule, which would you
Both have their positives and negatives.
choose one?
I prefer military.
Okay, you
Yes.
prefer military. Why?
Because there's law and order. People obey rules. Most of this nonsense that is happening.
Under democracy?
Yes, because there are no consequences for actions. People do things and they get away with it. But in the military, you can't go to the barracks even now and try and do nonsense. You know that is not going to happen. They will not. You don't even start it.
So you were
Don't
trying-
start, because there's discipline, there is law, and you face it.
Yeah.
So people don't try that.
So you were trying to say there are the good sides to both. So would you like to say something about it?
You know, in military, they might say maybe there might be human rights abuses. That's
Or with democracy.
with democracy, sometimes it's even more.
Okay.
Do you understand? Both have their, and everywhere there's corruption. You can't just single it out. But the thing is, we just hope that there are people that have that. Only God knows the mind of a person. So it's really
And lastly, revolution or systemic restructuring?
systemic restructuring.
Thank you. So one message to the Nigerian public. Where you go.
Let's contribute our quarter to make Nigeria greater.
Thank you so much. And that's it on Spotlight on today with Honorable Zainab Buba Galadima, where we've touched lights, so many things. I'm sure you'll enjoy this episode. Many thanks for joining us again. See you again next time. Bye for now.
Nigerian origin Conservative Party leader Kemi Bednak has stirred controversy with recent remarks about her childhood in Nigeria. She revealed that she no longer identifies as Nigerian and has not renewed her Nigerian passport since the early 2000s. Speaking to a UK audience, she described her boarding school experience as, in her words, like being in prison. Bednak, born in Wimbledon in 1980, spent part of her childhood in Nigeria and the United States before returning to the UK at 16. A move she says was prompted by Nigeria's worsening political and economic climate, as well as the need to continue her education. Bednak described her time at the Federal Government Girls' College in Shagamu, Ogun State, as like being in prison. The school, part of Nigeria's network of unity schools designed to foster national integration, became her home at the age 11. She recalled overcrowded dormitories with up to 30 girls in a room, a lack of running water, fetching bucket from wells, cutting grass with machetes, and cleaning toilet herself. To her, the environment felt more like detention than education. In Nigeria, the remarks have sparked debate. Some former students dispute the prison comparison, saying that while the conditions were tough, they still instilled resilience and forged lifelong friendship among them. Others agree with her account, pointing to chronic underfunding and neglect that have long plagued many public schools in Nigeria. This is not the first time Bednak's comments about Nigeria have drawn criticism. Last year, she described growing up amid fear, insecurity, and corruption. Nigeria's Vice President Kashim Shettima responded that his government was proud of Bednak in spite of her effort at denigrating her nation of origin. A spokesperson for Bednak rejected the criticism. Her account raises wider questions. How do personal experience shape a country's image abroad? Who has the authority to define that narrative? For Bednak, her Shagamu years were a test of endurance. For her critics, they represent just one chapter in a much broader Nigerian story. What are your thoughts? Do you agree with Bednak's view or do you see it differently? Let's meet in the comment section.